This video was produced by The Top Cut. Be sure to check out thetopcut.net, your home for Pokemon TCG, tournament coverage, professional game analysis, and interviews with the best players in the world. Thanks for watching. Alright, here we are in the final and deciding Game 3 of this top 16 match between Jay Hornung and Austin Zettel. Two Worlds competitors going at it here. And of course, Jay did lose the second game in this best 2 out of 3 series, so he will decide to go first here. And he will start right off the bat with Smeargle. And he's going to Portrait, which allows him to look at his opponent's hand and then see, okay, what do you got? And he also gets to use one of the supporters there for his turn. Now this does not count as the supporter for his turn. He gets to play one in addition, but he gets to use one that's in Austin's hand. So he will decide to use the Sage's Training, it looks like. There was a Juniper in there as well, but he will go with the Sage right here. And look at his top 5. He'll choose 2 and discard the other 3. So going first is a pretty big advantage in, well, any matchup, but this one especially, because you get the first opportunity to attach energy, you get the first opportunity to really do anything. And really, Jay just got a superb start here. He's got the Sky Arrow Bridge, and he's going to be able to X-Ball for 40 right away, putting a ton of pressure on Austin. Now, unless Austin has a Lost Remover here, this Terrakian's probably going to get knocked out the next turn. That's not something he wants to have happen already, but you know, it could. He's going to Heavy Ball for another Terrakian, put an EXP share on it. He'll probably attach to the active. Yes, that's what he's going to do. He has a Juniper and a Sage in his hand. I'd probably just want to see him Juniper this hand away and go for... Oh, he actually discards the Sky Arrow Bridge with the Ruins of Alph, so that could be a little annoying for Jay. Sky Arrow Bridge not going to do a whole lot for Terrakian, who has a 4 retreat cost. So he's just saying, Ruins of Alph, let's get that out of there. And now I don't see a Lost Remover or a Crushing Hammer, so this Terrakian's going to be in danger of being knocked out. Right now, X-Ball is doing 60. Terrakian has 90 hit points left, so if we see an energy and then a plus power, that could be a knockout. If we see a second double colorless energy, we would see an X-Ball for 100, and looks like Austin's just going to be like, okay, I don't want you to be able to X-Ball me for a knockout, so I'm going to make you have a switch or another Sky Arrow Bridge to retreat your Smeargle. Otherwise, you're going to have to attach to your active and retreat that way. And he's just going to make it tougher for his Terrakian to be knocked out. So, not a bad play at all. He's going to see a plus power out of Jay. And he'll probably use Portrait here. But actually, he's going to play N first. Maybe there's some stuff in his hand that he didn't want discarded. So just in case his opponent had a Professor Juniper, he didn't want a Portrait and commit himself to have to discard his entire hand in case that was there. Of course, we know Austin also had an N in his hand, but there's no way for Jay to know that. And so he'll simply play the N and get a fresh new hand of 6. And we'll see what happens from there. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. Of course, Jay has played that plus power already, so he is hoping for a switch or a Sky Arrow Bridge, and maybe he'll get one out. We don't know yet. He also still has Portrait available to him, so there's always that option. He's going to Level Ball for Tynamo, so he's got 2 in play now. He's got a Junk Arm in his hand. I don't think there's been a Switchblade, though. And there is that Portrait, so he's got an option. He can choose the N, so they can both shuffle in and draw 6 again, or he can choose the Juniper. Now, in this situation, he sees there's a Lost Remover there as well, so he might want to use the N. Actually, he's going to Juniper, so he's just going to go for that switch, or that Sky Arrow Bridge, and really try to get the knockout on this first Terrakian. He is going all in, and let's see, does he get it? Yes, there's the switch. So X-Ball will do just enough with that plus power, and let's see if Austin can respond. Now, he did lose the first prize here, but he's not in a bad spot at all. He does have that Lost Remover in his hand. He's going to be able to use Retaliate this turn. And right away, there's that Lost Remover. It's going to remove the double colorless, actually sends it to the lost zone. Not really going to make a big difference if a double colorless goes to the discard pile instead, but for the record, that should be in the lost zone. Now we're going to have to see, does Austin have an energy here to retaliate? That's going to be number 1. And does he have an EXP share to follow up with his next Terrakion? And it looks like he does not have an energy, so he's going to have to either Juniper or N, and he's going to decide to N here. Probably a good choice, seeing as N won't be good later on in the game. And also, Jay did just use Portrait to copy Austin's Juniper, so Jay just had a fresh hand of 6. So, might as well just go ahead and play the N. And let's see, okay, he does get the fighting energy. Things are going well, and a crushing hammer. There is a heads. This is a big swing of events here for Austin. He's going to be able to do 90 to Jay's Mewtwo EX here. And really, this is a bad spot for Jay now. He's got no energy on that Mewtwo. He's got no electrics in play. His hand just went down to 5 cards, 6 after he draws. So, of course, it'll depend on what exactly he draws off of this, but he went from having pretty much control of the game to having 0 energy in play and a damaged Mewtwo that is now in danger of just giving up 2 prizes. So, he does have a communication here. Looks like he drew a pretty solid hand off of that N. He's going to get 1 electric and 2 electrics into play. That'll allow him to use Dynamotor twice, get 2 lightning energy from a discard pile, attach it to a benched Pokemon. And it looks like he has a junk arm. Oh, that's not that great. Let's see what is in his discard pile. Just a switch. Oh, this could be good. He's gonna Portrait, and there's an N and a Professor Oak's New Theory. He will probably use the Oak's New Theory here. So, Smeargle really helping him out in this match. Portrait being a pretty big deal. And he's gonna Oak's New Theory, get himself back up to 6 cards, and hope to draw some more stuff. So, what looked like it could be an ugly situation really turned out better than it could have, thanks to having that switch and the Smeargle. Now, he's still going to have something good off of this, and looks like he drew the Sky Arrow Bridge, so there is something good off of those 6 cards. But you have to wonder, what is he going to do? Is he going to put down another Mewtwo? And he's going to wait for Austin to look at his discard pile, and then we're going to see Sage's Training. Is he going to attack with that Mewtwo that's already there? Or is he going to try to get a second Mewtwo EX into play? Try to X-Ball with a new one? Maybe he'll go for Zekrom with a plus power and try to Bolt Strike the Terrakion for a knockout. He actually has a lot of options now that he has 2 electrics in play. 2 Dynamotors, of course, allows you to get 2 energy from your discard pile and attach them to your bench Pokemon. And it doesn't count as your attachment for the turn, so theoretically you could power up a Pokemon that requires 3 energy to attack in 1 turn, which means you could use Zekrom, Bolt Strike. You could even do Zekrom EX's Strong Volt if you had a double colorless energy, but he's weak to fighting, so you probably wouldn't want to do that. But these are all options now that there are 2 electrics in play, so that N for Jay could have been dangerous, but it actually turned out to give him like a perfect hand. So, he will bench a new Mewtwo. Right now, let's see, 2 Lightning. That'll have X-Ball doing 80. And yes, looks like X-Ball will do 80. And once again, Austin's going to be feeling a little pressure, but probably not feeling too bad. As long as he gets an EXP share and a fighting this turn, he will be just fine. If he doesn't, that's going to be a problem. But yeah, I mean, if he can pull off a fighting and an EXP share this turn, he'll be just fine. He actually decides to catcher the damaged Mewtwo, which I do not like at all. He really just should have gone after the active. You need to knock out the Mewtwo that has the energy. That Mewtwo on the bench is pretty much always going to be there. I don't think Jay plays any cards like Seeker or Super Scoop Up. So, you need to take out the Mewtwo that has energy on it before it starts killing you with, before it gets like 6 energy on it and starts to X-Ball all your Terrakions in one hit. That's something you can't afford to have happen. You need to take out these Mewtwo's before they power up. So, a big missed opportunity there, I think. He should have just done 90 to the active Mewtwo, softened it up for the next Terrakion to come in. He did get the EXP share, so he is looking alright, but now he is kind of in a precarious spot. I don't know if he has any Terrakions left after these. I think he heavy balled earlier and didn't have any left. But next turn, oh, he shows a Juniper. Next turn, he's certainly going to need an energy, another Terrakion, and another EXP share. Because his active is going to get knocked out, but then this Mewtwo is going to have a ton of energy on it after Dynamotor. It's probably going to have 4 energy at the very least. Probably 5 after this. And that Mewtwo is just going to be knocking on his door the rest of the game. And it's probably going to take out maybe 2 or 3 Terrakions. And then Austin's going to need to start drawing into Revive or Super Rod to get them back. He's really just going to need all of his resources. He cannot afford to miss a beat at this point. He is on the back foot for sure. And it looks like Jay's going to put down another Mewtwo. He does play 3. Let's see. He could Portrait. There we go. He's going to Portrait. We see a Sage, Juniper, a Lost Remover, Switch, Heavy Ball, a Landorus, which is not going to help him out too much right now. So not a whole lot for Austin in his hand besides a supporter. Of course, the supporter will be very useful, but he doesn't have any cards like EXP Share or Revive in his hand. So, Jay's got to be feeling pretty good. Even though he's down a prize right now, he's going to be taking out this Terrakion with 3 energy on it. And he's going to have a Mewtwo with a ton of energy on it. Really just knocking on Austin's door. And I just can't stress enough how much not just hitting the Mewtwo with the 2 lightning on it was a mistake for Austin. He could have had that Mewtwo EX with the 2 lightning on it in range for a knockout this turn, and he would have been just fine, I think. But now look, there is a Mewtwo with 0 damage on it, with 4 energy coming at him. Right now, X-Ball is doing 140 to this active Terrakion. And what can Austin do now? Imagine if this Mewtwo had 90 on it instead. He would just be able to knock it out. He would be okay. But in this situation, this is looking ugly. There are 2 Mewtwo's he has to deal with. Both of them have 0 damage on them. And he's going to Heavy Ball and see that there are no Terrakions in his deck anymore. And this game might just be out of reach right now for Austin, depending on what he draws. He's going to bench a Landorus. He's probably attached to the Terrakion and then Juniper this turn, and hope to draw a lot of stuff. That's the only way to stay in this game anymore. Jay has tied the prizes. He's got a Mewtwo EX with 4 energy on it. It's going to keep getting stronger and stronger. Austin does not have another Terrakion on the field. Does not have a Revive either. And it's just not looking good right now. I mean, you can see Austin's a little stressed out. He doesn't really know what to do. Gonna take a look through his discard pile, see if there's anything that can help him, see how much stuff he's used at this point. He'll probably... Oh, he's actually going to use the Sage's Training. I don't know if I like this, but he does have a Super Rod in there. He's going to need a Terrakion this turn. But he doesn't have EXP Share, I don't think. So really what's going to happen is he's going to do 90 this turn, and then he's going to fall apart. This active Terrakion will get knocked out. I don't see a way around it. There's just too many ways that Jay could knock out the active, and it looks like he's going to Sage and get rid of the Super Rod, which means he won't be able to get any more Terrakions into play. I don't know what he's thinking about here. Alright, there's a Crushing Hammer. He gets heads. He's going to take it off the active Mewtwo. That'll make it a little harder for Jay to get a knockout here. But really, all he needs is like a switch. Any Junk Arms, let's see. 2 cards away, and goes for another Crushing Hammer. So he's putting everything on the line here with these Crushing Hammers. I don't know if that was the best way to go about it. Think about if he had played a Super Rod, gotten those Terrakions back in his deck, and I really don't like this catcher either. But what What if he got the Terrakions back in his deck, and then a Heavy Ball, and then Junk Arm for the EXP share? Then he would have been just fine. He would have had his Terrakion train still moving along. He could have had everything he needed, but he looks like he just went about it the wrong way, and now I don't see any way for him to avoid this Mewtwo train from coming, and just kind of X-balling him over and over. Because catching out this Mewtwo is probably not a good decision. With Sky Arrow Bridge, that Mewtwo has a 1 retreat cost. It's already got an energy on it, and Jay's going to be able to Dynamotor twice onto his bench Mewtwo, which means it'll have 5 energy. When you combine that with the 2 onto Terrakion, and there's even a double colorless for good measure. But when you combine all the energy on Mewtwo with Terrakion's energy, then that's going to do 140, and that's going to knock out everything. And it's just going to be Mewtwo going the distance here. I don't see any other way unless Austin... And oops, he thought he had an EXP share on there, but he does not. But really, Austin has no hope at this point, unless he drops down a Mewtwo out of the blue and a double colorless. Other than that, I don't see a way for him to win. He just ran out of Terrakions, he ran out of EXP shares, and that's all there is to it. And he extends his hand, and Jay will win this series 2-1, takes out Austin, and he will move on to the top 8, where he will face actually Austin's brother, Brandon Zettel. So we'll see if Brandon can get some revenge for Austin, and see if Jay can continue his run, and we'll see who comes out on top here at the Wisconsin State Championship. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this match, and stay tuned for some more action from state championships here on the Top Cut.